All right, here we are. The day after, and it's time to assess this. Maybe you're not as emotional as last night, let's say. And I'm going to be honest with you, I actually still am pretty crushed on this loss. I had trouble sleeping last night. I was even tweeting it. Update, still up. Update, it's 3 a.m. and I'm staring at the wall thinking about Al Horford / Michael Jordan, whichever you prefer him being called last night. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And I am still crushed. I really am. And I didn't expect not to be. I don't think I'll be over this loss until after the All-Star break. This is how I work. Devastated after a loss. The next day, I assess it a little bit differently. Not too much in this case. I still feel the same way. And then I need some time. Like tonight, the Sixers play the Knicks. If we end up winning against the Knicks, I'm still not excited because of what happened last night. I'm in that stage where I'm still crying over my girlfriend. You know how it takes a little bit to get over her? You cry it out, you let it all out, and then as time goes on, you feel a little bit better about the situation. I'm still in the crying stage. So, here's what just makes me upset about it. One, it feels like it's just adding on to last year. I know we added Jimmy, I know we added Tobias, but what did it feel like? It felt like last year's playoff series and nothing changed. Nothing changed. And you're going to get the comment section blowing up with Brett Brown. Get him out of here, he stinks, we got to get rid of him. Let's be real, use some logic, and Brett Brown is not just going to get fired. He's just not going to get released right now. He's here for the end of this season, throughout the playoff run, and we'll worry about the situation after the run and address coaching changes later. But to start screaming, fire this guy, get rid of this guy, trade this guy, relax. It's not how it works. This is what we're in right now. This is the situation. This is the team. This is the coach. Does he need to be better? Absolutely. Brad Stevens is walking circles around him. Brad Stevens, his eyes just get huge when he sees JJ on the floor, TJ on the floor. He just crushes those opportunities. Those matches that he loves. His eyeballs get ginormous just thinking about how much he can exploit that. We don't adjust very well. That's just reality. We do not adjust well. And it was on display again yesterday. And everyone's seen this stat by now, and I get it. We are 1-7 against the top teams in the East. And I know it's hard to discredit some of them based off the fact the roster has changed so much, but I still value it. I still value it. Just looking at the fact on other teams in this league who are at the bottom with us when it comes to those squads. Cavs. I mean, there's literally teams. Let me pull this up on Twitter here. There's literally teams at the bottom of the NBA that we associate ourselves with when it comes to that record. So, the 76ers look like an Eastern Conference contender, but so far they haven't been able to hang with the best teams in the East. Philly is now 1-7 against the Bucks, Raptors, and Celtics. That one win was against the Raptors when they sat Kawhi, Valanciunas, and Ibaka. The only East teams that have worse records are the Bulls, 0-7, the Cavs, 0-8, the Hawks, 0-8. That is concerning to me. I know that there are fans out there that say, bros, relax, just relax. It was one game. I even put up a Twitter poll, and it's pretty much split 50-50. It was 51-49 with like 50 votes or so. And I said, am I overreacting? Am I overreacting to this loss, or is it that bad? And it's pretty much split 50-50. Now, I think it's that bad. I really do. There's more to take out of it. There's more than just this one loss. It's just consistency of the way that we play teams like this. Down the stretch, we're down 3. What do? We try and draw up a play to jack up a 3? Or do we get 2, foul, and work our way from there? Or do we draw up a terrible play where nobody really gets going, Boston doesn't bite on anything, and Tobias just jacks up a 3? It's just consistency of failure when it comes to these teams that I see, and that's concerning for me. That's concerning. There's a mental block. Absolutely, mental block. I was so devastated. I still am. I really am. I woke up just fuming. Disgusted. Just disgusted. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's all over. I understand I said that yesterday, but the title of the video was I'm overreacting and I know it. So, I mean, that was me 10 minutes after the basketball game. Is there still a chance to do this thing, make a run? Sure, sure. But I am very skeptical now of this team moving forward. It bothers me. It really does. Boston is now 10-2 in the last 12 against us. And one thing I want to mention with Joel Embiid, he had some comments after. He might have used the F-bomb towards the refs. He said they effing suck. Well, how about this, Joel? One, really? That's a cop-out. You didn't play well for 3 quarters. I get that Al Horford play was such a foul, and I get it down the stretch. There are so many more reasons on why we lost that basketball game than just that foul call. Big call. Excuse me. Definitely a big call that was missed, but not the only reason. One thing he said was, I felt like I was sleepwalking for 3 quarters. Here's what disappoints me about that statement. How the hell do you sleepwalk through the first 3 quarters of a basketball game understanding that game? The Boston Celtics at home. Understanding that type of game atmosphere and what it means to this fan base and to your squad. How do you sleepwalk during that game? I love Joel. I mean, listen, he's a great player. He's the reason we're even in the situation that we are in. I get that. But you come out and say, oh man, I was just sleepwalking. Well, how? How are you not mentally prepared to not be sleepwalking in a game of that magnitude? I just don't get that. I just don't get that. And sometimes the way we move the ball, I know I'm jumping from Joel to Brett Brown here, but sometimes the way that we do things offensively, it just irritates me. It irritates me. The use of Jimmy Butler, switching things up, the adjustment for Brett Brown just isn't there. And you're starting to see it down the stretch and down the stretch. And I won't even get to the Furkan thing. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows Furkan should never be in the game. Everyone knows that a substitution 6 minutes in and rotating these guys every single time and using it, it's crazy. It's just insane. But that's what it is. That's the nature of the way that it's working. We've seen it now for 57 games. But it truly is disappointing. I don't feel any better than I did yesterday. Normally the day after, I'm a little bit more calm, a little bit more relaxed. Nah, I'm just as fired up, and it's a shame because, you know, this Knicks game tonight, it's not going to have much power behind it, of course. And then we have the All-Star break. And I think I'll feel better after the All-Star break. I'm going to assess the big stretch we had, the big stretch against good teams. I'm going to assess that during the All-Star break and taking a look at everything as I calm down. But as for right now, I'm still just fuming and really just disappointed. Really disappointed. That was an opportunity to make a statement. That was an opportunity to go out there and say, listen, we know what happened before, but this team's legit. And they absolutely did not show that. They did not show that. It felt like they weren't even competing in the beginning. I just don't understand how you start a game off like that. Of course, Tobias had a bad game. Yeah, he did. He did. I'm not stating he absolutely did not. We need him to step up. He hasn't been a part of a Boston Celtics rivalry. That's one thing I did mention before. Like, Ben's been involved. Joel's been involved. Jimmy really hasn't. JJ has. But Tobias, he hasn't experienced this. What rivalry are you getting out there with the Clippers? It's different. And now I'm sure he's going to start understanding that real quick, but he did not have a strong game. One thing I heard about Joel and Ben, during this 1-7 stretch against these teams, so in the 8 games, including the one without Kawhi and all the other stars on the Raptors team that we won pretty easily, and I don't look at plus minus as a valuable stat sometimes, but you're talking minus 30s, minus high 20s for these 2 players, Joel and Ben. And that's including a big win against the Raptors with their scrubs on the floor. So, does that concern you? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't want to hear trade Ben Simmons. I don't want to hear trade Joel. I mean, that's not a realistic option. You can throw things out all you want. Oh, let's trade for AD and Drew Holiday. Let's get rid of like. Let's be real. Let's not just throw things out there because you just want to get rid of people. It's not gonna happen. I understand it's a work in progress, but it's really disappointing as someone who invests so much into this team, and I'm crushed. I'm also disappointed with that broadcast. I mean, the players only thing. For a game of that nature, Boston, Sixers, in the Wells Fargo Center, 8 o'clock TNT, the place is unreal. We're going to have a players only, where guys are just kicking it, hanging out, dropping the word dickhead on live air. Like, that's what we're going with. We're not going with a legit broadcast where there's talent involved. It's just ex-players hanging out. That's a joke. That's a joke. What a terrible broadcast, for real. But listen, that's just how I feel right now. I don't feel any better. I just need more time to rant it out, and that's what this is for. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.